Hello, hello, hello. You already know I'm on that late night grind. We have some news. Some would say big news, I would say pretty big news. Some would say small news, I'd say pretty big news. We have a trade. I apologize, I know I'm talking a little quieter, and I know I'm closer than normal, but my phone's mic sucks. Normally I talk pretty loud, but, it's 11:13 here, so gotta be a little bit quieter, but and I'm a bit sick. But we have an NBA trade with the Boston Celtics and the Portland Trail Blazers again. This time, though, Jrue Holiday is going to the Blazers, and Anfernee Simons is going to the Celtics. Now, some of the trade details are still unknown. Sorry, I had Bobby Marks tweets up, but not Chom's. The very basic deal is Celtics trade Jrue Holiday to the Portland Trail Blazers for Anfernee Simons and 2 second-round picks. Now, we don't know the details on those 2 second-round picks. It's second-round picks. Chances are they're not going to be great. I'll double-check what their draft picks are, but from what I recall, they don't have any great draft picks. Because, let's see. They have the 32nd draft pick this year. The second-round pick this year, which could be a good pick. They have the 2026 own. It's just too complicated for me to read. I'd show you, but it's genuinely like a paragraph of swaps. They don't really have many unprotected seconds, so I guess they have 2 unprotected. No, I guess not. Sorry, but yeah, no. So, it's seconds. I shouldn't be spending this much time on it, but they're not going to be valuable by any means. Probably. Could be Nikola Jokic, but yeah. There's a little bit more nuance to this trade, and this is from Bobby Marks. The salaries going out are Anfernee Simons, who is expiring in 2026, unrestricted free agent. They pay him $26 million this year, $27.7 million next year, $25.9 I should say, $27.7 next year. The Celtics get off the Jrue Holiday contract, which through 2026 to 2027, 2026 through 2028, is $72 million owed to him. The biggest thing is this saves them a lot of money in cap. And the tax, sorry, like I said, is 11. I got up at like 6. In fact, I woke up for this trade just because I got the news. But this saves them $40 million in tax savings. Now that is obviously very, very big. We've seen, plenty of teams do this. We saw them cut Jaden Springer. We saw them, trade away a player in his second just for a protected second, just to get off salaries. They're evidently trying to get under the aprons. They're currently $18 million over the second apron, meaning they're still in the repeater. Haven't got out of it yet, but Simons is extension eligible. To Portland, Jrue Holiday contract is $30 million, 32.4, 34.8, 37.2 with a player option in 2027. And I have to imagine he's going to pick that one up. Now, to me, this sort of says that Jason Tatum's injury, despite what they said, is going to be fairly long-term. I know they said, he's going to be back so much sooner. We got him in almost immediately after the injury, which, who knows? Maybe he could come back. Maybe he could come back in August and just ball out. I don't know. But to me, I don't think the Celtics are done. Anfernee Simons is a guy who has had a major trade market for years now. Everybody from the Jazz to the Magic to everybody has wanted him at some point, and he's been on the block for ever now, honestly. So I can see the Celtics extending him, but he doesn't make a ton of sense with that team. They still have guys like Peyton Pritchard. They still have guys like Shireman and Walsh, who I know is sort of more of a 2-3 that they're investing in. They still have White. They still have Brown. They have a lot of guards on that team and a lot of ball handlers. I imagine Anfernee Simons will not be on the Boston Celtics for long. It would not surprise me if tomorrow it's announced that they traded him to the Rockets. They traded him to the Magic. Teams that still have future picks and some cap space in order just to get off that contract. It's by no means a bad contract, but at the very least, even if they keep Anfernee Simons, they get off $72 million the next 3 years, and they get projected, but it's Bob Marks. I mean, it's what he does. $40 million in tax savings. This makes them only $18 million over the tax. Let's see. There's been obviously plenty of rumors of them, waiving or moving on from certain guys. They would need to trade someone like a Derek White in order to get over the second. Hold on. If they traded Derek White straight up, that would get them over the second apron. He's making $28 million next year, 30, 32, 34. They could trade someone like Sam Hauser, who's making $10 million this year. I mean, they have options to get out from under the cap. What's interesting to me is, do they trade a Porzingis if there's a market for him? Do they trade a Brown if there's a market for him? Brown's making $53 million. I mean, this would get them, I believe, out of the repeater, something that just basically adds to the tax if you don't know. Gets them out of the repeater. I believe it gets them out of both aprons. Let's see. In the NBA, the repeater tax is a penalty imposed on both teams that repeatedly exceed the luxury tax in consecutive seasons, specifically teams classified as repeated taxpayers. If they paid the luxury tax in 3 of the previous 4 seasons, this classification triggers more punitive tax rates and on any additional spending down the line. Yeah, so they probably need a bigger contract to get out of the repeater. I believe if you're in the first apron, you're okay. You're not necessarily in the repeater. Yeah, so, sorry, I'm looking at a picture that's just not at all related to basketball. But I have to imagine they're not done. Even if they keep Simons, I think we will see a Porzingis on the move. We will see a Brown on the move. We could see a Derek White on the move. We could see a Pritchard, just somebody to shed some salary. They're not competing this year. They're probably not competing next year. It, on average, takes guys about 1.5 years to 3 years for them to be fully back after an Achilles. And Jason Tatum, though younger, I sadly doubt is ever going to be the same. We've seen Jrue Holiday specifically as well. Jason Tatum's 27. We've seen Jrue Holiday as well regress a pretty substantial amount this year. Like I said, his contract is 4 years. I like this for the Celtics a lot. Even if they keep Simons, this makes them shed a ton of money. I mean, this is a combined, 112? Yeah, 112, sorry, I'm so tired. This sheds 112 in cap for them, including tax. I mean, this is a big win. I honestly think that Anfernee Simons and Jrue Holiday are... I still would put Jrue Holiday above Anfernee Simons just purely off defense alone, but, I mean, even his defense is slipped. He's on a massive contract, and ultimately, if the Celtics are trying to stay relevant, Anfernee Simons is going to raise their floor. I don't think he's a bad fit next to Brown if they keep him. I don't think he's a bad fit next to Porzingis if they keep him. He's not a bad fit next to White if they keep him. Like, if they're trying to be at least competitive, he can create a bit, he can shoot. Not a defender, but ultimately somebody who can be good for them. Now, for the Blazers, I have no idea why you do this. Why aren't you getting draft picks? Why aren't you getting young players? Why are you getting 35-year-old Jrue Holiday? I mean, even let me double check. Because I think, he's substantially old. Yeah, 35. Nailed it. He's old. He's regressed a lot. He just gets in the way of some of your younger players. He gets in the way of your Scoots. He gets in the way of your Sharps. He could get in the way of, a Fears if you draft him. I mean, they have a lot of young guards who need minutes. Now, I'm sure they're going to try and flip Jrue again. They don't really have any reason to keep him. the issue is, I don't think this is like last time where you can, flip them and get, I think they ended up with DeAndre Ayton or Nurkic from that. I don't know. I apologize. I don't remember you're not going to flip them and get a good younger player anymore, right? Like Jrue Holiday's just not that. He's a salary at this point. As talented as he is, he slipped a lot. He's not nearly the player he once was. And ultimately, he still has 4 years left on a pretty substantial contract. So, if you're the Blazers, what does this mean? If you can trade Jrue Holiday, I get it. You know what? If you can trade Jrue Holiday for even a first, fine, I guess. But, I mean, there were reports of the Magic, for example, offering 2-3 firsts for Anfernee Simons. There were reports of other teams offering multiple firsts for Simons. Like, I just don't get it. Is Jrue Holiday going to fetch you much more than an Anfernee Simons trade? Because I don't think he will. I mean, I honestly think you might have to ship out a pick to trade him. I don't know. If they keep him, does this mean they're trying to be competitive? Are they out on Scoot? Are they out on Sharp? Are they not? Say if a Fears falls, are they going to take him? What if a Caspar Jackie Jonas falls? Igor Demin? Like, what ultimately does this mean for their future? I don't have any issue with them trading Simons. I'm not sure why they didn't sooner when his value is higher. But I mean, ultimately, everybody from Masai to Daryl Morey struggles with that a bit. Actually, Daryl Morey's, he has, but I mean, he traded guys probably 2 years to whatever. But I mean, I get trading Simons. I have no issue with it, but I just don't understand why to the Celtics and why for Jrue Holiday. If I'm the Blazers, I go and either trade for, a young reclamation project or I trade for draft picks, just unprotected first. I don't really care where they are so long as they're unprotected. If I can get a distant Grizzlies, just any draft assets, I'm not sure why. I just don't get it. If somebody happens to watch this, please explain to me, I guess, how this makes sense for the Blazers. Anybody who has a little bit more, info, anybody who has a little bit more intel on why the Blazers would do this. Does this mean they're out on Scoop? Does this mean they're moving on from somebody? Does this mean they're trying to shed the DeAndre Ayton contract? Because that's a lot of money to pay. I believe this puts them over the tax. So, yeah. I don't know. If anybody has any information, please feel free to let me know. Leave a comment. I'm happy to link my Discord as well. I can leave an email if you'd like. But yeah, just to wrap it up. For the Celtics, I don't mind this at all. I think they're getting back a fairly similar tiered player. Somebody who is younger, somebody who's on a better contract, somebody who I think you can extend and still have him be on a better contract than Jrue. You're getting off $112 million in both tax and contracts. You have the potential to get over the second apron a lot easier. It could get you out of the repeater depending on, what trade you make next. I just don't get it. So, yeah. Let me double check now. Just see if there's any new information. Let's see. Portland moved aggressively to reacquire Jrue Holiday, whom the franchise originally received from the Bucks in the Dame Lillard trade. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Yeah, Celtics are retooling. No shocker there. Jrue Holiday, great defender still. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, I know. I guess we'll double check Adam Himmelsbach. I mean, he's okay as a source, but a leak source says the Celtics acquired Anfernee Simons, who is on an expiring deal because they like what he can bring to the roster, but added that they will remain engaged on all fronts. Okay, and that's interesting, right? I don't know. I don't know what entirely that would mean, but yeah, I doubt either team's done. I guess we'll have to see. I hate this for the Blazers, I like this for the Celtics. I like this a lot for the Celtics. So, yeah. Oh, no. Okay, Portland is under 6.6 million under the luxury tax, but they will receive a hard cap. They're taking in more money in this deal, and they're about first apron hard cap, yeah, because they're taking in more money in this deal, about 14.7 million under the first apron. This probably means, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, the cap's a little bit out of my range, especially when it's, you know, future players and not established things going. Like, I don't think the Celtics or the Blazers are done, so I won't speculate too much into the cap. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, if you have any information on why the Blazers would do this, please let me know. I can't really find anything, but yeah, love you guys. Peace.